What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you about the Florida housing market. I'm going to answer some of the questions that I get a lot from buyers, sellers, and just investors in general. Things like, will the market crash in Florida? Will prices drop by 50%? I think this market is held together by an absolute thread, and I'm going to show you why and what I think could really happen. So let's follow along and dive right in. All right. So, what would cause a housing crash in the state of Florida? Um, One would be a ton of foreclosures. I don't necessarily think the foreclosure numbers are sending us that direction, being that a lot of people bought at a low interest rate over the past, prior to the past couple of years. Uh, Before that, the interest rates were really low, so let's just say probably not foreclosures that I can foresee. But or supply just goes crazy through the roof, and then demand also tanking at the same time, which may be caused by a recession of some sort, which would send the economy into an absolute tailspin. So let me share my screen with you and I'll show you. All right, so supply demand, common theme in real estate, right? So let's look at the actual supply in the state of Florida. These numbers are from Redfin, and then I will show you. This is what I want to look at right here. So since 2021, the number of homes on the market has shot up 42.3%, and you can see a very steep increase from 2023 to 2024, even from the beginning of 2024 up to where we are now, or the last reported numbers as of July. So supply could be a total factor in this. Now I want to show you where do I think a lot of this supply is going to come from, and why. So with the new regulations in condos, if you're not familiar with it, there was some changes that were implemented midway through 2021, which condominiums older than 30 years, here it is right here, within 3 miles of the coast must now be visually inspected by an architect engineer every 10 years. And many all have not had that, so they now would have to start having that. So now everyone needs it, and moving forward, they'll need it every 10 years. Okay, so in the state of Florida, there's only about 200,000 homes that are for sale. There is about 2 million condos in the state of Florida out of about 10 million homes total, or 11 million total. So you look at the rise of insurance, the HOA, and the assessment that are happening on the condos. A lot of people who have moved down here, retired, fixed income, things like that, now cannot afford that condo anymore. So there will be a flood of that supply coming on, probably 2025, late 2024, which it's already starting to happen. Usually your tax bill is going to come due November 1, and we'll start to see more of that. So I think the condos are really going to flood the market, and I think that's really going to drive the prices way down, because you will either have to pay the assessment to buy it, or the seller will have to pay the assessment to sell it. So that is going to be a huge fluctuation in the market, just period, with the condos. Now, condos aside, let's look at what's going on with residential real estate, that could also start flooding the market. What I'm seeing now is, or I'm getting calls from people who are saying, hey, my taxes have gone up and up and up. Typically, after your first year, you do get reassessed and your taxes do go up. What is different now is some municipalities and others they increase the millage rate, as well as are reassessing with the steep rise in the property values that have gone up over the last 3, 4, 5 years now. So some people's tax bill are going up again and again, and putting them in a place where they now either have to sell, or they need to move. So I'm getting that call. I'm also seeing insurance. In my particular case, my taxes and insurance were about $2,500 total in 2018. And over the course of the past 6 years, now my taxes and insurance are about $8,000. 3,500 of it coming from taxes, and now my insurance has gone from $1,800 a month up to 4,500, almost $5,000 a year. So you look at that cost, and that is pretty freaking significant, especially for people who are still either making the same amount of money or living on a fixed income. The earner's income has not gone up as much as the cost of living in the state of Florida. So on the other side of things, we've seen these increases across the board with car insurance. Just my car insurance has gone up over $150 a month. So you start factoring in all these variables that are all compiling, all going up. Groceries, the cost of inflation on most consumer goods, and all these things have the housing market just teetering by a thread in the state of Florida. We still do have a unique environment in Florida where we have a solid amount of demand with people wanting to move to Florida for the lifestyle, for the climate, for the beautiful sceneries, beaches, things of that nature. So we do get a good fluctuation of people moving in, about 1 million a year, according to the Google there. But it'll really depend on how these properties come on the market to what's going to happen later this year. Another factor is that I want to talk to you about is insurance, because we mentioned the price of insurance going up, which it is, and significantly. But when that all started to happen, one particular insurance company, Citizens, added a ton of policies and was carrying about 1.4 million policies in the state of Florida. So you figure what I tell you earlier, 10, 11 million homes, they're carrying 1.4. So they are carrying 10% of the policies, a little bit higher. Let's call it 14% of the policies in the state of Florida. They have dropped 300,000 people as they're trying to cut the amount of liability they have. This time of year, early September, usually we get some big storms. And here's what I say. If they're at 1.1 million policies in the state of Florida, they were holding back a reserve of $6.5 billion to pay claims. That is nationwide. And in the state of Florida, if they're holding 11-12% of the policies, and we get one of these months where 3 storms line up in the Gulf and boom, 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 hit the state of Florida, we're in a very vulnerable spot from insurance carrier side of things to where being able to pay. It wouldn't take a huge significant amount. I mean, probably 200,000 claims, so let's call it 20% of their policies have a claim in the same year to, really throwing a big wrinkle into the policies. So not only would you have the condo side of things, the cost of living in the state of Florida, now you have an insurance crisis that can't pay for damaged properties, and you have a state in absolute turmoil. So everybody, you got to be paying attention to this stuff. You got to be paying attention, not just taking, I'll take the Citizens policy because it's a little bit cheaper, but just knowing you're putting yourself in a vulnerable spot. I'm getting people who are calling me now and saying, hey, I can't sell my condo. Can you take a look at it? People are real leery of buying the condos because of the fact that, we got all these properties in a very vulnerable spot with these, the assessments, the HOA fees that continue to rise, and now the additional testing that's costing thousands and thousands of dollars. So there will probably be litigation. There will probably be regulations that come down. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think we're 1 month with three storms in it away from a very unique housing market in the state of Florida. Let me know what you're seeing in your area, and let me know if it's happening in your state like this. Of course, I pay attention to Florida, a little bit other states. So reach out to me below. I'd love to hear what you think about this, and I hope you're tracking and have a great day.